Good evening, everyone. Councillor Adscheid, you have the motion for council to move out of closed session.
Yes, thanks, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Mann that council rise from closed session and reconvene in open session at 7:01.
Thank you. And I'll call the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. We have now come out of closed session, and what that means is that we were meeting in a properly constituted closed meeting about specific issues, which we have discussed, and we've now come out of closed and are now in open session. So I want to welcome you here this evening on council on a very cold night, and we'll move forward. So regarding open session reports now, item number 1, the property sale. Councillor Reid, you have the motion.
I do, Your Worship. Property sale in Boxwood Business Campus, that council authorizes the mayor and clerk to execute the agreement of purchase and sale between the Corporation of the City of Cambridge and 110928-112 Canada Incorporated for 5.73 acres of property at a price of $1,804,000. That's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Mann.
Council, any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item number 2, again on property sale. Councillor Reid, you have the motion.
I do, move by myself and seconded by Councillor Mann, that council authorizes the mayor and clerk to execute the agreement of purchase and sale between the Corporation of the City of Cambridge and 1752084 Ontario Limited for 1.28 acres of property at a price of $403,200.
Any questions or comments for council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item 3, property sale. Councillor Reid, you have the motion.
Thank you. I do, move by myself, seconded by Councillor Mann, that council authorizes the mayor and clerk to execute the agreement of purchase and sale between the Corporation of the City of Cambridge and Petressa Group Incorporated for approximately 0.405 acres of property at a price of $127,575.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That carries. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to welcome the Cambridge Pathfinders this evening. I think we're in for a treat as we will all rise to sing the national anthem, and I'm really looking forward to you joining us this evening. Thank you. All rise, please. Thank you so much. And I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather today is the land traditionally used by the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral peoples. We also acknowledge the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. So this evening, council members, we have no presentations. Councillor Devine.
Could we just give a minute and let the Pathfinders leave so they don't get bored to pieces?
Certainly. Okay. Yes, okay. Yes, if you have any questions, I'm sure council members would be happy to address you after, but thank you very much. And council members, are there any items of pecuniary interest you wish to declare this evening? Seeing none, we'll move forward. There are no delegations this evening. We'll move forward to the consent agenda, the consent procedure. Councillor Ermetta, you have the motion.
Your Worship, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Adshade, the consent agenda as printed. But I see number 3 is crossed out. So everything but 3.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Amata. Yeah, through the chair, we received notice, the clerk's office received notice from Councillor Devine that item 3, the general committee minutes, specifically the item 1, unfinished business related to the naming of the pedestrian bridge. Another item to be dealt with is item 8, the appointments that we dealt with in the general committee meeting. And the other update for council this evening is item 9 on your agenda, Myers Road, the H holding provision. At the request of the developer, that item will be deferred and dealt with at the meeting in February, and it'll be brought back and staff will report back accordingly. So, approve the motion, the consent motion, without those items in it.
So, council members, we will call the question with those items removed from the consent agenda. So, all those in favor? And that motion carries. Councillor Devine, do you want to bring forward your item?
Yes, regarding the committee minutes from January 8th, it's regarding naming of the bridge. Page 31 on our council agenda. Again, I would ask council to defer this until we can set up a system and a process for naming.
Do you have a seconder?
Apparently not.
And that motion fails. Regarding the item on the council appointments to committees, there will be 2 changes. The first, the vice chair for budget committee, Councillor Donna Reid will sit on that committee. And the GALT BIA, Councillor Ermetta will be appointed to that committee as council member. I need a motion to approve it, council. That's Mike Mann, a seconder. Councillor Wolf. Any discussion? Councillor Devine.
Yes, the person that was appointed prior, are they aware of the changes?
Yes.
The councillor was appointed prior?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? And I'll call the question. All those in favor? That carries. Thank you. Councillor Mann, item 6.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Mike Devine, the Council Staff Relations Policy that the report 19-011, Re-Council Staff Relations Policy be received, and that the Council Staff Relations Policy attached to report 19-001 be approved.
Any discussion, council members? Councillor Devine.
Yes, sorry to be a pain. I looked at this, and this is the first time it's came to council. I don't believe it went to general committee. I don't believe. At least I don't recall seeing it. There's a number of things here that I'm concerned about in the policy, and I would expect every councillor has read it. I'm asking for deferral until we can have full council here. I'm asking for a deferral until we get a full council. This affects the entire city staff, everybody in city staff. It affects city council. So we want to make sure that it's palatable for everyone.
Okay, do you have a seconder? Councillor Mehta. Further comments? Councillor Devine, did you want to finish?
Yeah, I would have this deferred until we can have a full council to discuss this.
Okay. Councillor Reid.
I'll try to keep this to time and place, since that is what we are speaking of. When you say in a motion to have a full council, you tie the hands of people. I think that's a wise intention. However, there are times when people, through no fault of their own, cannot be here in order to attend a council meeting. And sometimes things get left for a very long time because we are trying to ensure that everybody is present. So I would be opposed to it on the basis of everyone being present.
Councillor Mann.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I too, if we make a motion where everybody has to be here, I think that really ties our hands. But I think if we refer to time and place, that gives every councillor an opportunity to review it and make sure they have reviewed it before it comes back. So I'm okay to defer it to the next meeting and make sure that Councillor Liggett and Councillor Montero have had a chance to look at it. But I would say the next council meeting should be time enough for that in my humble submission.
Councillor Mehta.
Well, thank you, Your Worship. So I did read it, and there's a lot of positive stuff in there that I would support. However, it is an important document. I think that it would be good to have everyone here, and there is no urgency to approve it. Even though the province has signaled that they want to have something, I think I read we've still got a while yet. So I see no harm in doing the deferral so that everyone can be here.
Councillor Devine.
Yes, and through the chair. It would seem that a deferral to everyone's here is not palatable. Okay, that's what I'm getting here. Would council agree till the March council meeting to give us time to go through it? Would council agree to that?
And we'll call the question in a minute. I wanted to continue with any further comments. Thank you. Councillor Wolf.
Through you, Madam Chair, does anyone know the date specified by the province?
Hang on, the clerk's just looking. I believe it's March 1st.
Okay. Then I would, if it's March 1st, I would suggest we do it in February. February council meeting?
Yes. Further comments?
No, that's fine.
Okay, and the chair's privilege I'll take. I recognize the importance of the policy, but I agree with Councillor Devine that we should defer this for more discussion, in particular those that are missing tonight, and further discussion. So we'll hopefully get any questions or concerns addressed by staff ahead of that meeting. So that'll give us more time to consultation. I'm okay with that as well. Any further discussion or comments? All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the deferral? And that carries. Okay.
Councillor Wolf, unfinished business, chamber.
We'll move forward to unfinished business and the Chamber of Commerce Visitor Services Agreement. It's been deferred since March 6, 2018, General Committee. And Councillor Wolf, you have the motion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through me and seconded by Councillor Adshade, Chamber of Commerce Visitor Service Agreement, and the report, the service agreement with the Chamber of Commerce Visitor Service Agreement be approved, and that Council authorize the Mayor and Clerk to execute the service agreement with the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce for the provision of visitor information and services at 750 Hespeler Road, the Visitor Information Centre, in accordance with the attached bylaw, and further that payments outlined in the service agreement continue to be funded from the tax levy. And
Thank you. Questions and comments from Council? And I would like to note that Greg Duration, the President and CEO of the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce, is here if there are any other questions. But is there a question or comment from Council members?
Speaking to the motion?
Speaking to the motion.
Yeah. I've looked over the agreement, and it has been a long time in coming, and I compliment staff and the Chamber for the work they put into this agreement. I think that I like the fact that we're not tied to the visitor centre forever, but we are tied for the foreseeable future, and whatever that may be. And the province lately has been sending down a few things that make us a little uneasy, so it's nice that this is for the next year for sure. I do think there is room for us to work with the Chamber and the City to see if we can further utilize the Visitor Centre, perhaps maybe look at that location also as a Cambridge Service Centre, in terms of the people who use the Visitor Centre often are people who aren't using the internet, who don't pay bills that way. So perhaps for people who live in Hespeler or Preston, they could pay a parking ticket at the centre or get a dog tag. And I think it would be a good idea for us to get together and see, how putting our heads together and being creative, we could make it so that more people access the centre and continue to work together.
Further questions or comments from Council? Councillor Devine.
Yeah, thank you, through the chair. That's a good idea. That's thinking outside the box, and that's a very convenient spot. However, I believe city staff and the chamber have done their job. However, I've been asked by an absent councillor to for a 1-month deferral on this, the next council meeting, and I'm asking for a deferral. I understand that councillor has some issues with it. I have no idea what the issues are, but I'm asking for a deferral.
Do I have a seconder for that? Seeing none, that request is lost. Councillor Mann.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm in favor of the motion and the agreement and the work that has been done by staff and by the Chamber. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's something that is necessary for us to proceed with at this time. There's been some good suggestions that have been brought forward by Councillor Wolf, but again, I think it's time that we move ahead and give the Chamber some security over the course of the next year to know that they have got funding for the next year.
Further comments or questions from council members? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that's carried. Any notice of motions, council members? Any notice of motion? Seeing none. Non-jurisdictional items? Non-jurisdictional items? Seeing none. We'll move to confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Devine, you have the motion.
Confirmatory bylaw, seconded by Councillor Mann. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from council members? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that's carried. Before we move to adjourn the meeting with no other items, I wanted to take the chair's privilege. I'm seeing somebody. Just 1 second. Councillor Mann.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I just want to make sure that I didn't lose this, and that was the item number 3 on the consent agenda was pulled, the general committee minutes. Did we approve those?
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're good? Oh, you're good. So I'm going to move forward and just take the chair's privilege. As I will not be at next week's meeting, I wanted to take a minute to thank our outgoing city manager, Gary Dyke. This will be our last meeting together, and while we've worked together only briefly in this capacity, in my former role in the city, we've been working together for over 4 years, and I really wanted to just reach out this evening and just let him know that Gary's done a lot for our city over the last few years, and I very much appreciate his assistance. Our city's in good financial footing with a much lower debt burden than most other municipalities of our size in Ontario. We've modernized how we work as a city, putting in place various internal governance processes and engaging with staff to ensure that our city has a dynamic and a dedicated group. And you can see that in our city staff and how we provide excellent services here for the people of Cambridge. It's a very dedicated group, and I know that has also come from Gary's steady hand on the tiller over the last 5.25 years. With his team, he has worked hard to promote the City of Cambridge as a progressive leader in terms of best practices, modernizing services, and finding innovative solutions to our municipal challenges. And just for an example of that, our city staff won an AMO Award, Association of the Municipalities of Ontario, for successfully finding a better, less costly, and more environmentally friendly method for cleaning sewer systems. And although that's not always a great topic, without it, you know about it. But this was the first time that this technique was used in Canada, and it's garnered a lot of interest from other cities. And while we have our challenges, thanks to Gary, we are poised to tackle those issues and embrace new opportunities with a very strong team. He's made a great contribution to our city, and we thank him. We wish him well in his new endeavors, and I want to take this opportunity on behalf of all of City Council and the staff in the City of Cambridge to thank Gary Dyke for his 5.25 years here. Thank you so much. Thank you, and I think that Councillor Wolf has the motion to adjourn.
Through Madam Mayor, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Adshade, that the council meeting does now adjourn at 7:25 p.m.
Thank you. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you so much.